Big problems for the FBI as Representative Mark Meadows accuses the FBI of potentially tampering with witness statements and lying to the Inspector General. So much information coming out daily. I always say it feels like every 5 minutes on what's going on with the FBI, DOJ, Obamagate, Spygate. But let's focus today on just the FBI and some of the problems. Now, one of the people that I have really admired for several years now in the United States Congress is Representative Mark Meadows. He's a Republican from North Carolina. He's the Freedom Caucus chair. And I've met Meadows. I don't know him, but we've spoken offline. I've met him at various events. He's a very nice guy, but a very serious guy. And he is probably one of the most common sense people right now in the United States Congress. Well, Representative Meadows is now accusing the FBI of doing what many of us feel they have been doing. And he feels they may have modified the 302s. 302 is an FBI witness. He also feels that the FBI may have misled the DOJ Inspector General, Michael Horowitz's office, with what Representative Meadows called false information. This from a Fox News story, but it's being reported widely. So the story says the FBI may have edited and changed key witness reports in the Hillary Clinton and Russia investigations, the top House Republican charged in a hearing into FBI and Justice Department misconduct yesterday. Now, of course, that hearing was the joint hearing of two very powerful committees in the House of Representatives, the Oversight and Judiciary Committee. Mark Meadows also raised the chair that the FBI, as I said, misled the Inspector General. Now, here's what Representative Mark Meadows said to Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General. He said, quote, "The other thing that I would ask you to look into, there is growing evidence that 302s were edited and changed. Those 302s, it is suggested that they were changed to either prosecute or not prosecute individuals. And that is very troubling. Now, I suspect the 302s he was talking about in particular were those of General Michael Flynn and members of Hillary Clinton's team. Not sure if Hillary herself is included in his supposition because, from what we're told, she was not put under oath. There may not have been a 302 generated on Hillary. I believe the fix was in. I believe that they got Hillary in that building and they probably chatted about movies. I don't believe Hillary was asked a question. It was all just wink, wink, come sit in the room for a couple hours. Got to make it look like you're doing something here, Hillary. And that was that. Now, just to re-explain, 302s are reports on witness interviews compiled by federal investigators. Horowitz, and this is a bombshell that the mainstream media is not reporting. Fox is, a few others are. I'm going to talk about it all day. Horowitz said later he has additional information, this is from the Fox News story, suggesting that the witness reports were changed after the fact in both the Clinton and Russia probe. Now, that is really, really troubling when you contrast that against Horowitz saying he found no bias in the FBI and DOJ's handling of these same investigations. Both cannot be true. Why would witness interviews be changed after the fact? I've conducted witness interviews. I've filled out the forms. The witness says what the witness says. There's another term for changing witness interviews or 302s, whatever you want to call it. That term is called evidence tampering, and it's a crime. Evidence tampering. Now, it was yesterday, the day before, here on the show, I said, Peter Strzok, we're going to get to Peter Strzok in just a second. Well, he did some things that I think he should be fired for, but I haven't seen any evidence of a crime committed by Peter Strzok. However, if Peter Strzok changed these 302s, my whole perception changes. I'm not saying he was the guy. I don't know who the agent was who changed him. Maybe it was McCabe, Comey, could have been Strzok. We don't know. Hopefully, we'll find out. But if it were Peter Strzok, if we do find out Peter Strzok is the agent who changed the 302s, then to me, the whole game changes. That's evidence tampering. That is a crime. That is a crime. The only time that's done is if the witness calls you back and says, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I remembered something. My wife just reminded me that I had made a note. When I said I saw that car pulling away from the house where the guy was shot, and I told you the car was red, I was wrong. It was blue. The red car was parked in front of the house. My wife just reminded me of that. And now thinking about it, she's right. I had the cars mixed up. It was the blue car that took off. It was the red car that remained parked there. Then it's okay. Then you change it because you're getting updated, more accurate information. But if it's not in that context, then it's a crime. Then it's evidence tampering. Then it's egregious investigative misconduct. All kinds of crimes. Start perjury, evidence tampering, bad stuff. Now, Meadows also hammered DOJ and FBI. Meadows asked Horowitz, so you've been watching my show, you've been watching others, you know that in this Inspector General report, in addition to named individuals, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, there are unnamed individuals who were very, very critical of Donald Trump. Right? We know this. We know that there were many unnamed individuals critical of Donald Trump. Well, Meadows wants them identified. So again, from the Fox News piece, in a dramatic moment, Meadows then directly asked Horowitz whether two anonymous FBI employees identified as making anti-Trump statements in the IG's report were named Kevin Kleinsmith and Sally Moyer. Horowitz refused to confirm the employee's identity, which the FBI has declined also to publicly reveal, citing the supposed sensitivity of counterintelligence matters that they're working on. However, Meadows is saying that excuse is a sham. Representative Mark Meadows said, quote, they don't work in counterintelligence. And if that's the reason the FBI is giving, they're giving you false information because they work for the FBI's general counsel's office. Wow. So let's break that down. You've got a sitting member of the United States Congress saying that he has reason to believe, and I really suspect, let me leave it at that there are many whistleblowers right now inside the FBI talking to members of Congress, people like Mark Meadows. And I really don't want to go beyond saying I strongly suspect that there are many whistleblowers in the FBI speaking to members of Congress, okay? You've got a ranking member of the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus flat out telling the Department of Justice Inspector General and the director of the FBI that he believes 302s were changed. Now, that's not a statement a congressman would make unless he had pretty solid evidence of that. Bolstering my suspicion that he has whistleblowers, or solid evidence, is that Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, said, yeah, I've got some evidence of that myself. Okay. So we can pretty much bank on the fact that it happened and 302s were changed. Now, I give you my scenario. If the change is the witness calls back and says, well, I remember some information and I told you the car was blue and the car was red. My wife reminded me she had made a note. Well, that's okay. But I don't think that's what happened here. I don't think that's the kind of change they were talking about. I think it was much more nefarious, much more improper, possibly illegal. Then we find out that a couple of those anonymous agent number one or FBI employee number one or attorney number one, number two, number three, etc., who texted things like, I am numb, well, one wrote on election day after Trump won. A lawyer, wrote, Viva la resistance. They're members of the resistance, working inside the FBI, resisting the new president-elect at that point, and now president of the United States, Donald Trump. This is as bad as it gets. Or is it? Because then you have the director of the FBI and the Inspector General saying, well, we can't give you the names because they work in counterintelligence. And Mark Meadows saying, no, they don't. And this is why I'm pretty sure he has sources inside the FBI. They don't work in counterintelligence. They work in the FBI General Counsel's office. They have nothing to do with counterintelligence. That's a lie. That excuse doesn't hold water. The credibility of the FBI and DOJ is being crushed daily. This is a really important story because the FBI did what members of Congress are accusing them of. This scandal is much bigger than we ever thought. I want to bring it to you every day, all the details. Help me do that by subscribing to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. Download the Rebel app. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.